You guys are so quiet today. Hope everyone's awake. This is big stuff. All right, is -2 a solution, of this equation? How can we tell? What could we do? There's a couple different ways we could do this, but what could we do? Is -2 a solution?
Plug it into that.
Plug it in, absolutely. Now, when you plug it in, you gotta do it carefully. You're plugging in -2 for all of the x's. So you're gonna have -2 squared minus 4 times -2 minus 12. And we wanna know, does that equal 0? When you type this into your calculator, and many of you are going to do that, make sure you're typing this in correctly. You are squaring -2. If you type this, you're not going to get the right answer. That's not right. This is 2 squared made negative. We have to square the x, which is -2. So let's see what we get. -2 squared is 4 plus 8 minus 12. Does it work out?
Yeah.
It does. So your one, it's a solution. And we got it we figured that out by just plugging it. Okay? Did anybody have a different way of doing it? That is fine, 100% fine. Anybody have a different thought? Could you solve the original equation? How would we solve that original equation? You've done it a bazillion times, right?
Do we do the thing where we do the 2 x's?
Absolutely. And you know what those 2 parentheses would be, brother?
They have to multiply to 4 and add to 12.
Other way around. Multiply to 12,
And then
add to 4. Actually, multiply to -12 and add to -4. So what would make that happen?
6 times 2.
So -6, +2. And then I know Mr. Meyer over and over again said, check, 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 check. So when we FOIL it back, sure enough, we got our problem, didn't we? So what would this tell me? If those are the factors, what does x equal? X equals,
-6.
uh-oh,
Or
that's it.
6.
Because we say x minus 6 equals 0.
Oh, yeah.
So x equals 6, or x equals -2. And that was one we were checking. So we can either solve the equation, or we can plug our answer in and see if it works. Perfect. All right, number 2, which are linear equations? Okay. Does anybody have any idea what we mean by a linear equation? Well, guess what its graph looks like? A line, right? So what do you know about lines? Equations, I mean. What do they look like? Y equals,
MX plus B.
yeah. Now, notice that's a plane X, right? So let's eliminate some of these right off the bat. A has a plane X, so I'm gonna keep that one for a minute. What about B?
No.
No, eliminate it, get it out. No, not linear. How about C?
Good.
It's a tricky one. That X cannot be in the denominator. So that is a no. X cannot be in the denominator. X has to be like Y equals 5x plus 2. That X is not in the denominator. That changes the graph. So X can't be in the denominator, so C is a no. What about D?
No.
No. What about E? Well, that one looks okay. I'm gonna hang on to that one. And what about F?
Yes.
whoa, F?
Oh, wait.
No, because it has a square.
Yeah.
No squares allowed. No squares allowed. So A is linear. If you graphed A, you guys, anybody know what it would look like if I graphed it? 2x equals 8, which means x equals 4. It looks like this. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep, so that's linear. And E would be the same thing. It is also linear, only it wouldn't be 4, it would be a different number. So A and E are the only ones that are linear. To be linear, you cannot have an x in the denominator. You cannot have a power on x other than 1. It just has to be plain x, not in the denominator. All right, number 3. All of these are linear equations, and we're going to solve them. And I think I'm going to have you come up and solve them. Get your blood flowing a little bit. So you never have to come by yourself. Please remember that. You can always bring a friend. So, let's see. Candace, I want you to come up and do number A, 3A. You can do it by yourself or bring a friend. And Ellison, I want you to come up and do B by yourself or with a friend. And Ellis, I'm going to give you kind of a tricky one, but I think you can figure it out by yourself or a friend. Oh, by the way, these cookies were left over from something if anyone's hungry. Now, the rest of you should be working them out by yourself, because we're going to have to check these guys' answers. Figure it out. I bet somebody in here can help you if you want to ask, or just take a wild guess.
B.
Yeah.
Wait, negative. I don't know how to do something.
Wow, look at this stuff, guys. We have good stuff happening up here. Let's look at number 1, or A. Everybody okay with that? Did everybody get 6? For this one? Okay. This one's a little tougher. They moved stuff all around and ended up with 2 as the answer. Anybody else get that? Aqua, you get that? And then, I knew Ellis could do it. He did a great job. He said, okay, I gotta get x by itself. So I'm gonna multiply by the reciprocal. Because what happens when we multiply, that's a 2/3 right there. What happens when we multiply it by 3/2? Don't those cancel? And he's just left with x equals, now he said 12/10. I, of course, with my red pen, am going to say what?
6/5.
Yeah, that reduces, So this is another case where you have exactly the right answer. You're gonna get almost full credit, but you only get full credit if you simplify. Nice work, Ellis. Anybody have a question about those 3? at this guy, do it together, simply because I know how you did this last year, and it's a great way to do it, and I want you to continue doing it. We look at this problem, we have two fractions, a 1/3 and a 1/4. They're added together, right? When we add fractions, we gotta have a common denominator. So what is the common denominator? 12. So we are gonna make all of our fractions over 12. So this guy has to be times by 4. Now, guys, if you're gonna multiply the bottom, you gotta multiply the top. We're good on that? Okay. This one, we're gonna times by 3. And this one, you might say, oh, it's not even a fraction. Yes, it is. So this one has to be times by 12. The whole problem has to have the common denominator. Now, does everything have a 12 in the bottom now?
Yes.
Once you make everything a 12, you disregard the denominators. They're gone. We don't even look at them anymore. And we do the numerators. So we have 4x plus 3 equal to 12. Make the denominators the same and then ditch them. And then just solve what's left. So we will, what?
Subtract 3.
Thank you. And divide by 4. And again, we're big kids now. Improper fractions are fine. 9/4 is a great answer. No need to type that in. If you do type it in, it isn't wrong, but it's extra. 9/4 is perfect. All right, I'm gonna skip down to G. I'm gonna have you guys come up and do a couple more, but I'm gonna skip down to G because it looks exactly the same. And coincidentally, what's his common denominator?
12.
Also 12. Yeah, common denominator is always 12, it just happens to be 12 again. So, the first fraction, this is letter G, the first fraction needs a 4. The second fraction needs a 3. And the last fraction needs a 6. Would you agree that every denominator is now the same? Okay, so they're gone. Don't forget, this is a distributive up here. I was careful to include parentheses to remind myself that's a distributive. So 4t minus 4 plus 3t plus 15 equals 6. Everybody still with me? Okay, so now what?
Add the 4t and the 3t.
Collect these. So 4 and 3 is 7.
And then add the -4 and the 15.
And -4 and 15 would be 11.
Yeah. And then subtract the 11. And then divide by 7.
And that's perfectly fine. Don't give me some freakish decimal. -5/7 is completely fine for the answer. All right. Who hasn't been up to the board yet? Who hasn't been up yet? Okay, so Riley, Jake, Vaughn, Aqua, you guys sorted out. We gotta do E and F on the board. So come by yourself, come with each other, I don't care.
We're gonna do
E and F. Everybody at your seats, start working these out.
Okay.
E,
Is this E right here?
this is E.
There you
I I gotta keep it in the video, and then here's F.
Let's see.
Alright, there's work.
Thank you.
Let's do this.
Let's do
Let's
this.
go team.
Okay. 15Z.
Here, you look at the
15Z. Minus 9. Minus 8Z.
Guys, got it down already?
Minus 4. Equals 5Z minus 2. And then 7. Yeah. And then do like the minus 13. Yeah, minus 2.
Yes, 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 you need a 3.
Yeah, I like
right
fully
now, on the bottom there's 1, you need a 3. So you need a 3 on the top.
Shout out first period.
Yeah. Okay, what you guys come up with? They got 11 halves, I haven't done it yet, you guys at your seats, how does, how does that look?
Wait, she said.
11 halves, Carol says that's a good one.
Yes. Imagine if we had yellow shirts. I know. It's kind of like.
Anybody have a question about Jake and Ron's problem? We good?
So good.
So good.
So good.
All right, Riley and Aqua are putting, they have a fraction on one side and no fraction on the other side, so they turned that into a fraction, made both denominators on both sides 3. Now they're canceling, adding, and I don't know what all they're doing.
Right? Yeah, we're here, yes. 6, 7. 7. Yes.
Looks like they got 7 halves. Did anybody get that far? For that problem, did you get 7 halves?
Yeah. See if we all did rocket right now.
Hmm? Okay, I see what happened. So, that would be all right, everybody good? Everybody okay? We're all set. All right, well, the good news is we've got 6 more problems, and they are exactly the same kind, only they're inequalities. All the problems we just finished were equals. Now we're doing some problems that are inequalities. For the most part, nothing's gonna change. So 4A, I'm gonna start this problem exactly the way the kids at the board have been doing it. I'm gonna subtract my 4x. I'm gonna add my 1. And I'm gonna divide by -2. Now, that's where it changes. That's where things get a little different. Does anybody remember the rule?
Flip the sign.
Yeah, if I'm gonna divide by a negative, I don't always flip the sign. Stop right now. You don't always flip the sign. You flip the sign when you multiply or divide by a negative. I'm dividing by a negative, so that's gonna become a greater than. Everything else I did was exactly the same as if it were an equals. There's no new process, nothing's different, except you have to have your radar up if you are multiplying or dividing by a negative. B looks different, and it might initially freak you out, but actually it's super simple. Your job is to do just what you did over here. Get X by itself. That's what we want. We want X by itself. So right now, that's hooked to the X. So what do you think we're gonna do? Subtract 6. The only difference is now, you gotta do it all the way across. This is like a two-part problem. So we're gonna subtract 6 all the way across. So we end up with negative 4, X, and 3. Is that okay? Now, as you guys say, my bad, we should get the habit of writing these as intervals. So as an interval, remember from a few days ago, brackets and parentheses, this answer would be written this way. Would you agree? How about this one? X is greater than or equal to negative 2. Who can tell me how that will be as an interval?
Negative 2, comma, infinity.
So it's gonna have a negative 2 and it's gonna have an infinity, absolutely, because positive infinity is out this way.
Bracket around negative 2.
Bracket at negative 2 because it's an or equal to. And a parentheses around infinity because infinity is always a parentheses.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Alright, I think I'm gonna wait and have C done at the board, and I'm gonna have E done at the board, and I'm gonna have D done at the board. So we'll do F. Let's do F because it looks like a mess.
Oh gosh.
Oh no.
Big mess.
Do not be afraid.
The Lord is with me.
That's right. The Lord is with you.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna pause for a moment and tell you my be not afraid story. True story, I still have the email. Okay, so, years ago, I had the cancer and whatever, and I was going through treatment, and the original tumor had been over here, and then one night I was doing my exercises, and oh my gosh, I have a lump over here, so now I'm freaking out. I go in immediately to the doctor, they do an ultrasound, I have a massive blood clot in my neck. So I'm freaking out, nothing they can do about it except give me blood thinners. But because of the chemo, the blood thinners I didn't inject them, so I had to learn how to give myself a shot twice a day of this blood thinner. So they showed me how to do it. It was 10 o'clock in the morning when I was there. The nurse showed me how to do it. She said, well, you have to go to the ER at 10 at night, or you have to do it yourself. We would suggest you do it yourself because you're gonna be doing this for months. Okay, so she shows me how to do it. All right, lots of people give themselves shots. I had never done it before. Anyway, I learned how. So that night, I'm at home. It's almost 10 o'clock. So you know how you are when there's something you don't want to do. I'm walking all over the house. I'm picking up the magazines. I'm finding little tasks because I do not want to do this. But it was getting closer and closer to 10 o'clock. I knew I had to do it, and I was just scared, didn't want to do it. So at 10 o'clock, I'm going to check my email. So I clicked on it. I was teaching at the time. I had a sub when I was in the hospital. We would go back and forth. Every 3 weeks I was in the hospital. So when I was in the hospital, she would come in, great lady. So she was teaching. And at 10 o'clock at night, exactly. I mean, the time stamp says 10 o'clock p.m. A little girl named Nicole Serrar sent me an email. Mrs. Ford, just want you to know we're working on our math homework, thinking about you, be not afraid. Can you believe that? I mean, think about that. I was terrified about giving myself a shot. And And at the moment I was supposed to give myself a shot, a student sent me an email and said, be not afraid. So I went in the bathroom, gave myself a shot. Blood clot dissolved, all was well. Anyway, there are moments in my life, and maybe in your life, when you think, oh man, if I ever doubted God was out there, I don't doubt anymore. That was crazy. All right, anyhow, we gotta do this problem right here. This is a massive problem. I am going to start by
You're gonna start by distributing.
distributing. Now, you do not have to start that way, but I think that is the most straightforward way. So 1/2 x plus 3/2 plus 2x minus 8, 1/3 x minus 1. Now, I do some stuff in my head because I'm the teacher and I'm old and I've practiced a million times. When you multiply 1/2 times 3/1, when you do this distributive right here, 1/2, 3/1, top times top, bottom times bottom, that's how I got 3/2. This is 3/1. 1 times 3, 3 times 1, that's how I got 1. It's actually 3/3, but I made it 1. Okay? Now, full of fractions. At this point, again, you have options. You always have options. But my suggestion to you is, let's get all the denominators the same. So we're gonna make all the denominators the same. What are we gonna make them? We have a 2, 2, 1, 1, 3, 1. What are we gonna make them? 6. So this guy needs a 3. This guy needs a 3. This one needs a 6. This one needs a 6. This one needs a 2. This one needs a 6. How are we? Are we good? Once the denominators are all the same, then we can get rid of them. So I'm only going to look at my numerators now. So I have 3x, 3 times 1 times x, 3x, plus 9, 12x minus 48, 2x minus 6. Now double check and make sure that's what you get. You have to kind of be organized because there's a lot of numbers floating around in there. Remember, the denominators are now gone, so we are not even looking at the denominators. And when you put a number up here, it's always times. So it's 3 times 1, 3 times 3, always times. All right, it's still big, but it's not as scary. What do I do now?
One like that.
So let's add these and get 15x. Let's add these and get negative 39.
Yep.
And nothing over there. So I'll subtract 2x. I'll add 39 and divide. When I divide, will I switch the sign? No. No, because I didn't divide by a negative. What is that as an interval? Think about what it looks like if you graph it. Oops. Doesn't it look like that?
Negative infinity.
Negative infinity,
And then
33/13, parentheses.
no, there's not.
All good? All right, we got 3 left. C is a monster, but there's no fractions in it.
That's good.
Who hasn't been up here yet? Everybody's been up here? Carol, you been up here?
No.
Carol, come on. Bring a friend if you want. Bella, you been up here yet? Okay, you been up here yet?
Yeah.
Alright, are you guys friends? Find another friend, I don't care. You guys are going to tackle, D. Alright, so Carol, you and your friend, or you or yourself, whatever, you have, this one, C. And then Alex and Bella, you guys are gonna have D. Okay. Don't be afraid.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. You guys give this a shot.
Okay.
I'll stand right here. Get separate into there.
Just forward, are we doing E2?
Yeah.
What?
E, are we doing E?
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Can't do it yet, because we're gonna do it. Yeah. On top too.
Yeah, or I would.
There we go. And -3/3, write that as. Yeah, can you put that in the neutral? That's within parentheses and brackets.
It'd be negative.
No, parentheses. Parentheses. Because you don't have parentheses. So in parentheses. See? He's got it.
It's all positive.
All right, let's see what we got.
Let's see it.
So this one I watched, so I know this one's right. Notice they remembered to switch their sign because they, oh wait, no. We don't wanna switch our sign because guys, what did we divide by? You had this, you were here, you divided by 3. And when do we switch the sign? When we divide by a negative, and we didn't, did we? So therefore, our answer is x is greater than -1, which is this. I fell for that too, guys, that was my mistake too. There's a negative in the problem, but I'm not dividing by it. I flip the sign when I divide by it, okay? All right, let's see what happened over here. You guys did some distributing. That looks great. This is what they got as their answer. Not wrong, but it's a little confusing. What does that say? 5 is greater than x, which means x is less than 5. And if x is less than 5, then doesn't it look like this?
Yeah.
So it should be negative infinity to 5. That's tricky. This guy's backwards. You gotta be careful, it's backwards. Not wrong, but it's backwards. All right, quickly, I'm gonna go ahead and do this last one because I wanna get this done. What do you think we ought to do here?
Make a common denominator.
So 3, So 9 minus 3x plus 10x minus 4 is less than negative 6.
Yeah. Now combine like terms.
5 plus 7x is less than negative 6.
And then subtract the 5.
7x is less than negative 11. This is another one. Don't switch the sign.
Divide by 7.
So x is less than negative 11 sevenths.
Yep.
Interval wise, negative infinity, negative 11 sevenths. There's your answer. I know I did that really fast. Go ahead and copy on that answer if you didn't get to it. And then go back and see if you can get it. P3 will be due tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll have a little more time, get a whole bunch done, and keep plowing through. Have a great day, you guys. These cookies up here if anybody's hungry.